So this idea would target folks who are managers in a government organization who have already proven that they have some capacity to withstand the headwinds, to, swat away the antibodies to get things done. But we want to make those people, give those people tools to be even more likely to be the kind of change agents that they want to be, and that we really need them to be inside government, so that they can make connections, build relationships with folks outside government who are trying to bring new ideas to how government works and how services are provided. So the who that we would target would be folks. I think that we can make the slide stop now, because they're just going to be really distracting. Folks inside government who are already in senior roles, the way that we would make it possible for them to participate in this cohort sort of peer network learning community is by making this innovation fellowship, for lack of a more creative term, really prestigious, so that their city agency heads and their city mayors would want their city, their agency to be branded as an innovative agency. And the way that you sort of further your brand as an innovative organization is that you have one of your senior managers participating in this cohort. These folks would apply, so they would have to be folks who are willing, who raise their hand and say, I want to spend time developing my skills in innovation and in making change within government. And then there would need to be some sort of process by which we know that the folks that they report to are also bought into the fact that they would be spending some time away from the office, learning, et cetera, and bring those people they report to into the conversation as well. So you're not only helping develop the individual, but you're helping develop their ability to make things happen within their organization and within their group. Then there would be some sort of curriculum designed to focus less on leadership, but more on design and other tools and approaches that help people develop solutions. It would be not so much focused on technology, but more focused on innovation. And it would not necessarily be the kind of thing where, like a Code for America, where you're focused on a project, right? It would be about system change. So you continue to do your job that you already have. You now do so with the benefit of thought partners who are in other similar organizations across the country, and experts who help expose you to the way that people are already making really exciting things happen within government. So we envisioned it would be, 3 or 4 days every time folks get together, every quarter or so. It would be in different cities, so people could be exposed to different agencies that operate differently. And we explored a few other ideas, like a job shadow kind of thing for a week, or exchanges. Greg, do you want to add?
So I'd like to locate this with the other similar type of programs that are happening, and how is it the same and how is it different? What makes it special and worth pursuing? So there are many ways for individual professional development, right? So as a mid in my career, a person might choose, hey, I want to go get an MBA, I want to get an MBA, or I want to do another program. And I know of a couple programs within federal government that are particularly targeted to the federal employee that's looking at doing a career and becoming an SES, an executive. And Harvard offers a program. I'm not sure if it's UVA or a couple of others. And these can be 3-week, 6-week programs, very focused on individual development, costs tens of thousands of dollars to do. Sometimes they're supported and paid for by a government agency. But it's very much focused on the individual if you're in mid-career. What we're seeing, we started with the question of, is there something we could do to invert the Code for America model? And I think the Code for America model is an accelerator model, it's a fellowship model, and one of the things it has is that cohort aspect. And Harper made a comment about enabling cohorts. We're starting to see a pattern of accelerating innovation and change, design patterns that are appearing, which have to do with having a cohort work together, having to do with accelerator models, having to do with training, et cetera, et cetera. So whether you're looking at that as a accelerator or fellowship, we're seeing this pattern. And I think we asked the question, how would we apply it to individuals that were in government, right? And we debated a little bit about, do you apply it to just kind of anybody in government? And we came down on the side of, you want it to someone, as Andrea was saying, who is already making progress against the headwinds, who already has some track record of success, but they could be enabled to be better and be better within their specific organization. I think one of the things it could do is to pull together resources that looked at that person in their field within their organizational reality and help them navigate that reality better. So Code for America as a way of developing young talent coming into the pipeline, bringing in new people. This is an aspect of developing pipeline, part of a pipeline that was developing talent mid-career and going on. And the fantasy of success of being able to find people who then 10 or 20 years later were part of the same cohort, but were also much higher up in positions of authority and to affect change.
Okay. So one that Andrea kept bringing up was this idea of who these people are and where in the organization they are. And one kind of set of words we came to say over and over again was executive visibility. Who are the people who can appeal up to the executives but also have a lot of power going, a lot of responsibility and a lot of probably forward motion up into the organizations as well. And so I think that was something that's really important. And touching on the design patterns, oftentimes, we did this at the campaign quite a bit, where we decided we wanted to build some design patterns that we could give to people who are either doing technology or user experience like we were doing, so they could build and replicate the same thing we were doing. Oftentimes this had nothing to do with technology and mostly had to do with just rule sets that allowed us to be successful. And so what are the design patterns for having successful innovation inside of a bureaucracy? I think we could probably all raise our hands and say, well, this has been successful for me. But how do we create an organization that documents this, and then the next time we have a class or whatever, documents and iterates upon that to allow us to always have somewhat of an up-to-date wiki or whatever on rules for innovating inside of a bureaucracy.
Right,
these things could be as simple as defining an executive sponsor for a project. That could be rule number one. Rule number two could be anything. I mean, the idea here is we don't know what will be successful in rural government versus city government, but there's going to be commonalities between those things that we can help share and help foster.